When the whirlwind of noise surrounds and gets intense, when words can't hide their anger or intent, you gently took me by my hand and led me to where I couldn't see, but to where I've always been. And we've been away for a while, but it's time to get back to making a whirlwind of noise on our own. This is our review episode of Queensrÿche's 1999 album Q2K, and this is I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to I Remember Now. Great to be back with you. It's been a little while, not quite as long as it's been in the past, but we cranked out a few episodes back to back there, so we took a little bit of a break, being that it's summertime and everything, but we are back, glad to be back, and it's not an I Remember Now episode without my co-host, Mr. Steve Wright. So Steve, how's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you? It looks like you got a good day in Pennsylvania here today. Good to hear you. We had a little chat before we press play, or press record rather, and good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'll tell you what, the weather has been phenomenal the last couple of days. Like, it's been in the 90s for weeks, it seems like, and just stiflingly hot, but like the last couple of days have been like in the upper 70s, and it's just been glorious, like just unbelievably nice. So been taking advantage of that. Spent some time on vacation this week, so that was nice. We rented a nice little cabin on a lake and spent a few days out on the water and did a little bit more of that locally here yesterday. And it's been a really, I hate to say well-deserved and pat myself on the back, but it's been a well-deserved week off. And it's been amazing. And I don't want to go back to work tomorrow, but it is what it is.
Yeah, all good things must come to an end. Yeah, I was on vacation the week before last. We had a nice time down in Virginia. And yeah, it was just hot as balls for the last 2 weeks. And the last couple of days have been nice. I sat out on the porch yesterday and listening to Q2K for the 1,000th time in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And, it was nice. It's refreshing out there. I went out this morning, sat down in my chair. I was like, ooh, I had a little tea. It was nice. You know, you're not sweating as soon as you walk out the door.
Yeah,
nice.
The days we were at the cabin, we had a fire pit like right outside the cabin, and we had bought firewood, and we had planned on doing like some fires in the evening. But it was so freaking hot. Like, I was like, I'm not going to go sit around the fire. Like, it's like 88 degrees and it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm all set on the fire. So we spent the days out on the lake, and then spent the evenings tucked inside the well air-conditioned cabin. When I say cabin, I'm not talking like rustic. This was like glamping, as they say. It was fully furnished, kick-ass air conditioning. I mean, everything I would want, because I am not an outdoorsy kind of guy. I don't sleep outside if I don't have to. That's why I work, so I can afford a house and things. So yeah, it was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. I'm not a camper like that. We used to camp like that when we were kids.
Yeah, well, it's different when you're a kid.
I'm good now. I'm okay with air conditioning and all that.
Yeah, I'm too
starting
old for
a fire
that
pit
stuff.
in 88 degrees is no need for that. God.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed we didn't get to make our s'mores over the fire, but we brought the stuff home, and we'll probably do it over like a sterno or something at some point. But anyway, a lot has happened since the last time we were here. First of all, Queensrÿche, the band we're here to talk about, announced a new tour coming up this fall that I think everybody's excited about, called the Volume and Vengeance Tour. Tour starts on November 7th in Denver, Colorado. Wraps up December 20th, at least the first leg wraps up December 20th in California. I got my tickets for the November 18th show in Greensburg. I know, Steve, you got yours for the 11/19 show in Wilkes-Barre, so we'll be seeing them back-to-back nights. So hopefully that goes well. Hopefully the shows are good back-to-back. I would imagine we will do a nice little concert wrap-up review the week after that. So excited about that. We have an ongoing joke on the Asylum podcast that Accept opened for every tour in the 80s, which they pretty much did. And lo and behold, they're opening this tour also. So it's going to be a pretty kick-ass double bill, because I love some Accept. I'm not as into the newer stuff as I know you are, Steve. I've always been an Udo guy. Have gone through the catalog, listened to the new stuff, and it's all pretty good. I'm just not real familiar with it, so I've got to familiarize myself with some of that stuff leading up to the show. But I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see both bands.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't wait. Like you said, I got my tickets for the 19th, and it's great, too, because it's only 35 minutes down the road from us. So, and we've been to the venue many, many times. I actually just bought tickets for Joe Bonamassa next March at the same venue, and looking forward to it. And yeah, I was gonna, if you didn't comment, which I'm sure you were gonna, about Accept opening up for everybody. And seriously, if anyone out there is a fan of Accept at all and has not checked out the newer stuff, you're missing out on a lot of kick-ass metal. I mean, I love those guys. I know like half the guys in the band too, like not, like they're not coming over my house for dinner or anything like that, but like I know that, and they'll like come up and they'll talk to me and stuff. Just a bunch of nice guys, and half the band is Americans now, so which that's kind of crazy, because they were always the the German power metal band, but half the band is guys from the States. Super nice guys. I've met all the guys except for Wolf Hoffman. He's the only guy I have not met in the band, but it's going to be a cool tour. Yeah, we will definitely record. I think my show's on a Wednesday maybe, and then we'll do a concert review that next Sunday. We'll probably record one then. So so at least we got that. We could mark that date down, Ray, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, put that one on the schedule now.
In November, so definitely looking forward to it.
We've got the same thing coming up with Jeff Tate, too. He's in October, I think.
Yeah,
I've got him one night, and you've got him the next night, or vice versa. I forget how it is, if you're first or I'm first, but I'm sure we'll do the same thing there also.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's open. I don't think it said who's opening for that one. It'll probably be someone local, I'm thinking.
I saw it somewhere. I think he's got somebody out with him, but it's nobody I've ever heard of.
So that means I probably heard of them.
Probably. But so that's exciting. So they haven't really said anything about set list construction or anything. So we are hoping that they listen to our last. I don't think it's a coincidence that we did the set list episodes, and like a week later they announced their tour. So I think they listened to that episode and said, hey, we got to get this out on the road. So I think they took our set list ideas and combined them, and that's how they put the set list together.
It'll be fun to see, won't it? I can't wait to see what they play.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll give us credit.
I'm gonna say probably not. Hey, were you thinking of maybe doing the meet and greet?
Maybe. I have meet and greets for Jeff Tate. It's like $130 or something, I think, for the Queensrÿche.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No? See, I thought that was expensive.
You thought it was expensive?
Yeah. I think
Really?
that's a little pricey.
I didn't think so. I thought it was very reasonable.
Yeah, well, I'm not one who normally pays for meet and greets, so I'm not sure what the going rate is, but I know the Jeff Tate one was much less than that. Well, not much less, but significantly less.
I don't do them, but I usually look into them.
Yeah.
See, because the thing is, if I did it, it would be probably just me of our group doing it, and then so I would have to go separately because they usually do them in the afternoon. So I want to make sure we go and everybody hangs together. So I think I would have to get 4 of us to do it, and I think it's only for like 10 people though. I think it said so.
Yeah, they're pretty limited, and
so it's limited, which is good.
Like you said, they do. Queensrÿche does it in the afternoon, whereas Jeff Tate does it after the show, which is just a little more up my alley. I don't know that I could get away on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm sure I could take a vacation day or something, but I don't know. It just makes it a little more difficult, I think, when it's in the afternoon before the show.
Yeah, the Tate show's a little bit further away. That's at Pins Peak, and that's about an hour, which, that's nothing. Hop in the car, seems like you'd blink your eye and you're home.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that, too, because he usually busts out some obscure stuff besides what he's doing Mindcrime for the final time, he's saying. But he usually busts out some other stuff, because I know has busted out Sacred Ground from Q2K that we're going to be talking about, and a couple other like deeper songs from the classic era too. So it'll be interesting to see what else he plays besides Mindcrime. And his band is always really, really good. Maybe we'll get Adela Brown.
Well, I've looked at the set list, and it's not, thankfully. It's good. You'll be very happy if you haven't looked at it yet.
No, I haven't.
Well, I won't spoil anything for you, but it's pretty solid.
I'll probably look it up now that I know that it's out there. So
yeah, same thing with this new Queensrÿche tour. Like, I know we've talked about like not looking at the set list ahead of time, but I know I will. I mean, I don't have that kind of willpower. I will want to know before I go, but I'm really going to try. I promise I will try.
Well, the thing is too that we'll make it a little easier because we're kind of early in the tour too.
Yeah.
So it's only a couple weeks. So I'm going to try to hold out too, but the thing is too, like if you look at your Facebook page or stuff like that, sometimes it just pops up.
Yep.
And you're like, shit, I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, people don't care about spoilers, man.
Go down. No, not at all.
That's just so rude, I think. Same thing with like TV shows and stuff. I hate when people post spoilers like an hour after a show's aired.
Don't
it's
get
like,
me
come
going
on
that shit. Yeah. My director, God rest her soul, she passed away a couple like last year. She used to do that all the time because there were shows that like she was watching, I was watching, and like she'd come in, she'd say, "Oh yeah, how about blah 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 blah." I'm like, I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
It does, but
so yeah, so the tour's coming up. So we got Jeff Tate touring this fall. We've got Queensrÿche touring this fall. It's going to be a fun fall for sure for Queensrÿche fans, no doubt about it. Other thing that happened since we've been gone, on a more somber note, of course, the metal and hard rock world and really the pop culture world in general mourned the loss of Ozzy Osbourne, who passed away. I won't say unexpectedly. I think everybody knew that he was sick and that he probably was getting close to the end. But I think just the timing of it, the way that it happened, like 2 weeks after the Back to the Beginning concert, that everybody was just so impressed by, that entire day. And I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched a lot of it. Was just so great. Such a great tribute and send off to Black Sabbath and to Ozzy. And then for him to pass away shortly after that, I think I hate to say the timing was good, but like he kind of kept the momentum going, you know what I mean? Of the Back to the Beginning show and then him passing away. Like it's just been like all Ozzy all the time for like the last month. I know you're a big Ozzy fan. I'm a big Ozzy fan. How'd his passing hit you, Steve?
Yeah, I was down in Virginia when he passed away. And of course it was like one of those things where, you see, I don't know, something pops up on your phone or whatever, Ozzy Osbourne passed away, blah, blah, blah. But like, you're kind of thinking, okay, bullshit, clickbait. But then in your mind, you're like, it's definitely possible. But then once, the ball got rolling down the hill, you're like, oh, it is not totally unexpected. He went out. I mean, if there's a way for a guy to go out, that is the way to go out. It was 17 days after his last show. And I also have not watched everything from that, but I've watched all the Sabbath stuff. I watched all the Ozzy stuff. Some of the bands doing the songs were absolutely fantastic. If you're going to do a farewell concert or something like that, that is 1,000% the way to do it. But him passing, it did hit pretty hard. I've been listening to Ozzy since probably 1981, I want to say, and great catalog. Not every song is great. There's some total duds in some of them. But, that's with every band. But I've been binging as well. I've kind of slacked off in the last week or so. Like you said before we were talking, you're Ozzy'd out. I'm a little Ozzy and Sabbath out. Although last night I did spin the Technical Ecstasy album from Black Sabbath. And I'll tell you what, that album gets shit on. That's a good goddamn album. There's some really good stuff on that. There wasn't anything on there that I didn't like. So if you're a fan of Sabbath and you haven't checked that album out, check that out. Rest in peace, Ozzy. The funeral where they showed where like the hearse came down and then Sharon and the family they got out at that little memorial thing they had set up or whatever. They brought the flowers out. That was pretty somber. It was kind of cool. Like the hearses are different in other countries than the United States, but it was like a big glass thing. You could see the casket, but they had Ozzy in like purple flowers on each side of the glass. I thought that was kind of cool. And so, hey, thank you for all the thousands of hours of entertainment that I got from him and his music. And, Osbourne's, that show also, for as much as people don't like it or whatever, made him seem like a goof. I think it put humanized him. Mm-hmm. Other than the guy that bit the head off the bat and pissed on the Alamo, whatever. It humanized him, and and it put him out there. That's like you said, not just the metal world, the pop culture world. Like I said, it's not a shock, but it's still sad, and he wasn't suffering anymore. So more power to him, and rock on.
Yeah, it was. I didn't watch any of the funeral procession or anything, so I can't really comment on that. But the outpouring of love and just tributes, coming in from everywhere, not just from people within the metal community, but just everywhere, And I think that Osbourne show, well, like you said, it kind of made him seem like a goofball, which he was a goofball. I mean, let's be honest. The guy was, he was a character, and he wasn't the Prince of Darkness, in his real life. He was this goofy English guy that could barely form a complete sentence. It just always amazed me, like when he would get out on stage and would just transform into this other person, and then like he comes off stage and he's just like this crazy old man, basically. But he was just such a character. And like the way Ozzy for me, he's never been like a top 5 artist for me, but he's like comfort food, he's like meatloaf and mashed potatoes of metal, he's always,
absolutely.
I put a thing on Facebook, like he's always been there, like since I was born in 1970, the first Sabbath album came out in 1970. My brother, who passed away when I was very young, was a huge Sabbath fan. And I remember the first Sabbath album blasting out of his room, when he was like 15 and I was like 5. And then that was my first introduction to them. Like when he passed away when I was 7. So I inherited his album collection. And I remember like being like, 9 or 10 years old and putting that album on and just scaring the living shit out of me. That first, Black Sabbath tune. And I never really listened to them much after that, like until Ozzy was solo, and that's, you start seeing the kids around school with the Ozzy shirts on. I didn't know Ozzy was the singer for Black Sabbath. I just started listening to Ozzy and loved it, and then realized, this guy used to sing for Black Sabbath, and then kind of went back. And like when I got into Sabbath, like my first album was Heaven and Hell. So that was kind of my jump on point. And like, I really liked the Ronnie James Dio stuff a lot better than I like a lot of the Ozzy stuff. Even in going back, I think their first album is flawless. I think it's just an incredible debut album. After that, I think there's like 3 to 5 really good songs on every album, and the rest of it just bores me to tears. I'm not a big fan of that kind of sludgy grunge, not grunge, but you know what I mean, that kind of sludgy doom metal type stuff that they did. But there's no denying the influence. Like I like Ozzy's solo stuff 1,000 times more than I like Black Sabbath. He really connected with me, in his solo career. So that's kind of been my fandom with Ozzy, but he's just always been around, like he's always just been Ozzy. And, every memory you have from being a kid, like if you're at a party or if you're in the car with your friends or just whatever, Ozzy was just always there. He was always around. There was always an Ozzy t-shirt walking around the halls of your high school, and it just feels weird that he's gone, like, I mean, he'll never be gone and forgotten because the music the man made and the influence he's had, will live on forever. But just the fact that he's not around anymore just is weird, and it made me start thinking about, my own mortality. And, of course, all the other bands that we love, they're all getting up there in age, man. And this is going to be happening on a regular basis, unfortunately. And it kind of has to some extent already, We've seen a lot of folks, have passed away, like, Lemmy and Jack Russell and Janie Lane, and there's just been so many over the years, and we're just scratching the surface of that. And it's going to be a sad time, like over the next 10 to 15 years, for us classic metal fans, because we're going to be going through this a lot, unfortunately. And I don't like that feeling. I just really don't, because these guys have all been a part of my life, since I was, as long as I can remember, since I was like 10. And I don't know if you saw Gene Simmons' comments on Ozzy, but he recorded a really nice video that I thought was the most honest and real I've ever heard him speak. And I think you could kind of see it hit him that, wow, this is going to be me, someday, and not that far away, because I'm in that same age range. And I think it was really, really telling, that video that Gene did, and I was really impressed by it.
No, I have to look for that for the Gene one. Yeah, and you're right. The next, like you said, 10 to 15 years, these guys are in their 70s now. So,
yeah.
And, so just, brace yourself. So enjoy it. That's why, like, go see these bands if they're still playing. Go, you never know when it might be the last time you see them.
Yep.
Really, these guys, everyone's got their life, but these guys are like the soundtrack to your life.
Absolutely.
They really are. And it's always been there for you. If you're, feeling down or something like that, sometimes you want to listen to some more mellower stuff, but other times you want to, snap yourself the fuck out of it and, put on something that just rocks and just lifts your spirits. And, that our music has been there for every facet. And, in certain circumstances in your life, throughout your life, you could think of, I remember this song came out around when this happened, or this song happened when I was doing this or that. And so it's a soundtrack to our life. So get out there, enjoy shows if you can. If you see these guys playing, go see them. Just go get out there and enjoy. That's what I got for that.
Yep. Couldn't have said it any better. But all right, so let's move off of the sad and let's move on to the happy. So, or at least semi-happy. We did our last episode, Steve. We did our latest episode of the classic Queensrÿche countdown. We covered number 34 through number 21. It was, of course, a fun show. I love the countdown episodes. I think they're as fun as an episode gets for us to record. The sheer shock and amazement of where some of these songs place on the list never fails to get a rise out of the audience and out of us. I think your ranking of Anytime, Anywhere at number 6 overall in the catalog, possibly more than any other song on the countdown, has caused more controversy among, our text group and our fans out there that listen. So, what'd you think of that last one, Steve?
They're always fun. I love doing those. And like I said, one of my favorite things is when you give me the next list of what's going to be coming up.
Yep.
But on this one, and we talked about it too, what I call ranking remorse. That when you see what you rank something and then you come to another song, you're like, how did I put that above that? And but it's always fun to go back because, like we said, we did this ranked them over a year ago or some close to a year ago. And so, and a lot of it comes to state of mind when you're ranking stuff, and it's fun to see what comes up next. And like I said, it's always great when I get the next list, but we only have 2 left, so the next one we're going to do number 20 to number 11, and then we'll of course do the top 10. It's fun, and like I said, I cannot wait to when we do our listeners rankings. That's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I'm just rubbing my hands together, waiting for that. But they're always fun to do, and it's not so much talking about the songs again. It's just where we place them.
Mm-hmm. And why.
But it's always fun. And seeing the ties and the tiebreakers, how they were voted on and everything like that. That's always interesting too. So always fun. I love those episodes.
Yep, for sure. And we've got another one coming up. We'll be hitting into the top 20. So we're going to do 20 through 11, and then we're going to do the top 10 as the final episode. And Steve mentioned we're going to do the listener ranking episode. And if you'd like to participate in that, there's still time. Drop us an email at feedback@iremembernowpodcast.com. Let us know you are interested in participating, and I'll get you the spreadsheet, and you can do your rankings, and we're going to combine all those listener rankings, and then we'll go through a listener list. And speaking of that, we got an email this past month when we were out from a gentleman named Richard Collins. And I got to tell you, when I read this email, I was blown away that he put the time in to do this. But he was basically requesting to participate. And I'm going to read to you the email that he sent. He incorporated names of probably half the catalog of Queensrÿche songs in this email. So let's see if you can pick them all out. So it says, "Hey, Ray, Steve, and Tim, in case you were wondering, if there's anybody listening miles away in New Zealand, well, there's me at least. I've been sitting here in silent lucidity for the last few years enjoying the podcast, but right now I'm breaking the silence. I'm definitely a classic era fan and had some resistance to checking out the new version of the band, but you guys inspired me to give them a go. I can't say hand on heart that I'm a fan of all of it, but I've found some songs I enjoy, especially on Condition Human. But mostly, I will remember the classic albums I listened to as a teenager with the one and only Jeff Tate and the guitar hero, Chris DeGarmo. My next heroes are which brings me to the rankings of the classic era tracks. I've been screaming in digital at some of your combined rankings so far. Warning, I'm a big fan of both Della Brown. Ray, why are you blinded to the magic of this song? And Gonna Get Close to You. Steve, come on, get a life. So I've accepted the mission to do my own ranking, and man, is it hard. I'm doing the best I can. but sometimes I feel I'm walking the thin line between the promised land and the roads to madness. As each time I listen, I move things around. Hopefully it doesn't send me completely out of mind.
Arms waving madly, it's something that sadly isn't there.
Anyway, all I want is for you to send me the spreadsheet so that I can take hold of the flame and finally get these rankings done and sent back to you. And finally, I wanted to thank you both for putting the podcast together. I always enjoy your episodes, whether it's rediscovering the albums I already know in new ways or listening to the ones that I don't for the first time. Queensrÿche has never toured New Zealand as far as I know, so it's easy to feel a bit disconnected from them in the real world. But that's what I love about podcasts. They can reach people
Something just out of reach.
anytime, anywhere. Cheers, guys. Richard. That was freaking awesome.
That's kick-ass. And he ended it with an awesome song.
Yeah, he did. Number 6 overall. So yeah, that's the way you request a ranking list, man. I'll tell you what. I was impressed by that he put the time in to write that and was creative with it. So Richard, thank you first of all for listening all the way over in New Zealand, and thank you for participating in the listener list episode and for your incredible email. I just really, really enjoyed that. It literally made my day when I read it. So I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, when you sent that to me, I'm like, holy shit, this is freaking awesome. And Rich, thanks so much. It's cool to hear that we actually have a listener in New Zealand, for one thing.
About that.
And but just the time that he put into that, I can't wait to see what his rankings are going to be. I think Della Brown's going to be a little higher than your ranking too, according to his email.
Well, that would not be very hard. That's not saying much.
I'm still shaking my head.
Yeah, well, he got you in there also with your
I know.
ridiculous going to get close to you ranking. But yes, that was awesome. We also got another, in case you don't know, you can also comment on Spotify. Now, if you're a Spotify listener, you can comment right on the show there. There's a place to leave comments. And Thomas Hubner, who's been a frequent contributor, is emailed in before. He left us a comment on the last episode, just said, funny how different your lists are. Great show again. So thank you, Thomas. We appreciate that. And
Thank you.
It is funny how different our lists are. That's the best part of doing this is the differences in how we rank stuff. And then, of course, we also have a couple of calls. We have a new caller this week. I don't think he's ever called in before. But before we get to him, let's listen to our good friend, producer Tim.
What's up, Timians? Let me start by saying Chasing Blue Sky is 1,000% a better song than Roads to Madness. That song is a drag and is like listening to an ingrown toenail dig further into your flesh. Most of the Warning is like that, actually. It's so much of the contrived metal that I didn't like that drove me to pop music in the early 80s. There are a couple of decent songs on that and the EP, but for the most part, both are near complete skippers. Near complete skippers, I repeat. Now, I think the clip that I put of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman and Alexander Hamilton for Anytime, Anywhere says the majority of what should be said about this pick. Picking a turd as the least turdy of the turds, and let's face it, Here in the Now Frontier is full of turds, is asinine. Especially when that song in particular sounds like my intestines prior to me creating a turd. I mean, that's seriously fucked up. Number six, we know that insanity is a state of mind, and it seems like Steve is running to be that state's governor. Any of the interstitial pieces like My Empty Room, 9:28 a.m., Waiting for 22, or even I Remember Now is better than that turd. Now, I was ramping up for Operation Mindcrime because I saw the list before I listened to you guys. But I will say the palpable regret was a breath of fresh air. To say I Am I is better than that, well, that's actually debatable. And it could be. But to say that actually makes a lot more sense than some of the other choices in this segment. Hey, do you guys remember that time I said turn the current on? Do you remember that? That was awesome.
So Tim was he was kind of all over the board this week. I couldn't tell if he was in a good mood or a bad mood, but yeah, he did say Chasing Blue Skies 1,000 times better than Roads to Madness, which I don't necessarily disagree that it might be a better song, but 1,000 times, I don't think I can go there. And he described it as an ingrown toenail digging deeper into your flesh, which is a very lovely visual, Tim. So thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Mentioning the warning was contrived metal, which I get a little bit of what he's saying. I think lyrically, yes, I agree with that. Musically, not at all. I don't think it was like anything that was out at the time. I think it was new. It was innovative. It just sounded different. But lyrically, and I've been critical of their early lyrics on the show in the past. They're just kind of like metal, Dungeons and Dragon-y fantasy type lyrics, which I'm not really into. But I think they've grown as songwriters over the years, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. But I can't say that their music was contrived. He also gave us a beautiful visual about his intestines, which, always appreciative of that. My favorite comment, though, Steve, was his ripping of you for ranking Anytime, Anywhere number 6 when he said that insanity is a state of mind, and apparently Steve is running for governor of that state. So I thought that literally made me laugh out loud. So I love that. But and then of course he closed with the Chris Farley reference, which we talked about in our last episode, and I really appreciate that. I love the variation he puts on the turn the current on every call.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for the call, I guess. No, really, I always look forward to Tim's scathing sarcasm all the time. And but like Chasing Blue Sky better than Roads to Madness, I don't know. I forget where I ranked both of them. But as far as them being both skippers, no. His comment on Anytime, Anywhere, asinine in a turd. Come on, relax. And running for state of insanity, running for governor. I don't disagree with that. I could probably be the president if that was a country. So I'm glad you liked my choices.
Insania, isn't that that's a country for Halloween, right?
There we go.
Yeah, it's always great hearing from you, Tim. If anybody would like to see Tim's smiling face, you can check out our I reposted an Asylum video that we're doing now on our I Remember Now Twitter feed or X feed. Had one person comment on there about getting to see Tim was nice. So we are videotaping now the Asylum podcast, and Gary's cutting it up and releasing pieces of video. So now I've got to worry about what the hell I look like every Thursday.
Yeah, make sure your hair's combed.
Yeah, well, I don't usually have much of a problem with that, but like I can't sit there and pick my teeth or my nose or anything else. You're always on camera.
Sure
you never
can.
know what the hell he's gonna cut up there. So yeah, check that out if you want to get a glimpse at producer Tim and hear his hot takes on Dio era Black Sabbath.
And Ray, remember that time that Tim called in? That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That was awesome.
So speaking of awesome, we got a new caller, as I said before, somebody we've heard from in the past via email, but I don't believe he's ever called before. So let's hear from Canada Rob.
Hello, this message is for the I Remember Now Queensrÿche podcast. Hello, Ray and Steve. This is Rob Colin from Vancouver. Canada Rob, occasional guest on the Potter Than Hell podcast. I would like to make some comments on the setlist episodes. Let's start with Tim. Tim doesn't get much comments, I think. That was an awesome Metallica story. What an experience that would have been. I would have loved to do that. I just don't get how after that, you're not a concert guy, and when you do go, you prefer sitting rather than standing. Like you'll never experience that again if you're up in the seats. If that had happened to me, man, I got to go to every show possible and try and get as close as I can to have that kind of experience again. The Queensrÿche set list, I thought they were awesome. I really appreciated that there were songs from DNA on there because that is my favorite Todd era album. I would also venture to say, I bet you that's top 5 in all Queensrÿche catalog for me. But Ray, I think if people went to your show, a lot of them would be angry that there were no Mindcrime songs in there, one of their most revered albums. Great Maiden set list, like work that Steve did on his, and I was quite pleased that when you guys talked about your favorite shows you've been to, I was at most of those, but in different cities. That Eat 'em and Smile tour, which you both mentioned, great show, love that. Ray, I was at that Metallica tour. They did 2 nights in Vancouver, and I saw the first. And I was also at the Synchronicity tour, although it was a very early Thompson Twins that opened up that show. Steve, I saw both the Hot in the Shade tour and the Revenge tour, and also that Triumph Sport of Kings tour, and all of those great memories of those shows. Yeah, I think I'll call back another day with the set or the rankings that you guys are doing. That's awesome. Love the show. But for now, I think I'm going to go sit down on my reclining sofa with a pillow and a blanket, put in my Queensrÿche Mindcrime at the Moore DVD, and pretend I'm Tim at a concert. Sorry, Tim. Can't help myself. I do agree with some of your comments, Tim, and I certainly appreciate all you do on the show. It sounds awesome. Till next time.
So Canada Rob, nice hearing from you, man. Steve, I know you are personal friends with Rob, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't he one of your cruise buddies? Somebody you met on a cruise at one time?
He is. He was on the last 2 Monsters of Rock cruises with us. Great guy from Vancouver. And we actually were recording with him last week. So we have an episode with Canada Rob coming out very soon.
Nice.
And awesome guy. He fit right in with our group right away. He started ball busting within 10 minutes of meeting him. So, he's one of our guys now. He's one of the Monsters of Rock cruise family now.
Well, you can tell
hotter
he's
than hell.
Yeah, you can tell he's good at busting balls, because his comment about I'm going to go sit on the couch now with a blanket and watch Mindcrime at the Moore and pretend that he's producer Tim at a concert just made me laugh. So that was the highlight of his call for me. But I love getting these calls from people, and I apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. He's losing his mind currently because he can't get out of the room. Talking about Tim's Metallica story, and how you could not want to go to more concerts after you experience something like that. I could not agree more. Like, if James Hetfield's sticking a mic in my face and I get to sing Seek and Destroy, I am going to go to every show I can and hope to do that again. Also good to hear from people that are in our age range, that went to some of the same shows that we did, the Metallica tour, Synchronicity, the Kiss tours he mentioned. So it's a great call, Rob. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, Rob, great to hear from you again. And and he did. That was a great point too. Like, after that Metallica story for Tim, I know he beat this to death, but why would you not want that again? Just saying. And always great to hear from Rob. Appreciate it, buddy. And you'll be hearing him soon on Hotter Than Hell.
Cool. So yeah, if you'd like to call into the show, you can give us a call at 336-422-6862. You can record a voicemail there, or you can send us a voice note or an MP3 file to our email address, which again is feedback@IRememberNowPodcast.com. You can do it either way, and we will get you on the next show. And we thank everybody that's called in the past, and hope to hear from more of you. It's great when we get new callers. That's one of my favorite things, hearing from new people.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, everybody, and commenting. Keep them coming, and always a highlight for me when we do this show. And Tim sends them out to Ray and I as soon as they come in, and we usually get Tim's comment 1 or 2 days after. So I always make sure I save them and give them a listen, and make sure I check them out again before we record. But everyone, thanks for calling and interacting with us. It's awesome.
Yeah, Tim likes to call in as soon as he's done producing the show, so everything's still fresh in his mind. So it's usually the day after, the day of, we get Tim's call. So we'd love to hear from more of you. So again, give us a call when you can, 336-422-6862. or email us your recorded message at feedback@IrememberNowPodcast.com. All right, we are almost 40 minutes in already, or 35 minutes in, and we haven't talked about our main topic yet, so we better get this rolling or we're going to have another 4-hour episode. So we are going to go over today the 1999 album from Queensrÿche, Q2K, give it our full track-by-track breakdown and review, rank the songs, rank it versus the other albums, all that good stuff. So Steve, why don't you go over some of the facts about the album?
Yeah, Q2K came out September 14th, 1999, 49 minutes and 45 seconds. That's just the album itself. It was re-released in 2006 as a remaster with a couple, 2 other studio tracks that weren't used in Sacred Ground Live. We're not going to talk about those, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Recorded, it's funny because it has recorded by Queensrÿche, but when I was checking out our Queensrÿche Bible, Building an Empire, Story of Queensrÿche from James R. Beach, Brian Nairn, and Brian Heaton, it said in there that they had Kelly Grace slated to produce the album before, it sounds like, Chris DeGarmo left the band. I'm not sure what the timing of that was, but this was a really transitional time for the band, like the most ever, really, besides just getting together when they started. At the end of 1997, they had no label. Chris DeGarmo, lead guitar player, one of the lead guitar players, major songwriter, left the band. They had no management. The last tour that they played, the Here and the Now Frontier tour, they usually play over 100 shows for each album tour, consistently as they've gone along. They only played like 48 shows on the Here and the Now Frontier tour because the label went broke. They didn't tour Europe or UK or Japan. That was all canceled due to lack of funds. And the band, they didn't know what they were going to do. It was like, sounds like it was such a dire and transitional period. Jeff Tate even auditioned for Journey after Steve Perry left. And
God, but I would love to hear that audition.
I know.
Would that be like an
sure.
amazing nugget to have in your collection, like a recording of that?
That'd be cool. I wonder if it's out there.
That's got to be somewhere.
There's got to be somewhere. I'll have to look for that. But obviously, he didn't get the job. Steve Augeri got the job, which I got to see them on that tour, by the way. And then they thought about going to a 4-piece, but I guess Michael was like, he wasn't comfortable with doing that, which I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think what probably would have happened is they probably would have had whoever come up and play like just a live guy rather than a band member. Like I said before, they had already had Kelly Gray ready to produce the new album, whatever it was going to be. So they talked about, like I said, going to a 4-piece, and they decided against it. So then everyone kind of brought up Kelly Gray, and he was in the band Myth with Jeff prior to Queensrÿche. So they all knew him, and then him and Michael got together and they jammed, and one thing led to another, and they eventually asked him to join the band. And one other thing that's interesting too is that besides that he was slated to produce the album, and the album is credited for being produced by the band, and also the songwriting credits is the whole album is credited to the band. There's no, Tate and Wilson, Gray and whoever, Jackson and Rockenfield. So it's the whole band gets credit for all of the songwriting on here. If you read the Building an Empire book, it kind of breaks down in there who wrote what and who contributed to what, but the whole band as a group was credited with everything on here. So definitely a transitional album, a transitional period for the band. They did some demos. Like when they first got there, I think the first thing that they did was Breakdown Room, which got shortened to Breakdown. A song called Right Side, which ended up being Right Side of My Mind, and What Kind of Man, which the spelling got changed on that, which we'll talk about later. But just a totally transitional period of the band for these guys, and it was weird too seeing them live without Chris DeGarmo on stage. It was just and it was a weird period as a fan too, because it was like, wow, like Chris DeGarmo is gone. Like what? That'd be like, it was like for me when like Adrian Smith left Iron Maiden. I was like, what? Who are they going to get now? It was just one of those things. How about you?
Yeah, this album is definitely, like you said, a transitional piece. It's kind of cool that it happened like right at the dawn of the new millennium. It was the end of '99, moving into 2000. Obviously, the title reflects that, so it was kind of a new beginning for the band. This kind of, we did our classic countdown. We were just doing the original lineup, the classic lineup, and we cut that ranking off at Here in the Now Frontier. This is kind of the beginning of phase 2 of the band, where you do all these albums from when DeGarmo left through the period where the band implodes, towards the end there, and into Todd La Torre coming on board. So it's kind of like 3 phases of the band. I've always looked at it. You've got the classic lineup. You've got this phase, which this album begins. Then you've got the modern era, the Todd La Torre era. So definitely a transitional period. A lot of stuff going on with the band and the label and the tours and everything, like you mentioned, Steve. But yeah, I thought Kelly Gray did a great job. I mean, I read in the book and I've heard people bitch about him over the years. I'm not a guitar guy, so like I'm not going to notice if he doesn't play a solo like note for note or whatever. But his playing never bothered me. I like the sound of the guitar sound on this album. I think it sounds fine. It doesn't sound like classic Queensrÿche, but who's expecting it to? I mean, that's one thing I never understood, and we'll get into this more as we go on, but like people bitched about this album, like, it doesn't sound like Queensrÿche. Well, yeah, it does, because what is Queensrÿche? They're a chameleon. Every album sounds different. It has a different tone. It has a different direction, and what were you expecting? Like them to just re-record The Warning, and put it out in 1999? That's not going to happen. This is a band of evolving musicians and songwriters, and this was just the next step in that progression. And yeah, it's not as heavy as some of their older stuff, but from a songwriting perspective, and I like the fact that they did a lot of this stuff together. It does mention in the book that Jeff Tate wrote all the lyrics, and we're going to talk a shit ton about lyrics today. I think this is lyrically one of their best albums in the entire catalog. Just from a songwriter perspective and an adult perspective, like this album hit me at a time, I was 29 years old when this album came out. I had 3 children, was kind of going through that phase in life, where you're a parent and trying to figure things out. And I think a lot of the themes and lyrical content on this album are in that direction. And that's why it's always been a very, very personal album for, I think, both Jeff Tate, obviously, who wrote the lyrics, and for me. It just always really connected with me because of when it came out and where I was in my life at that time. So I could not be more excited to talk about an album than I am this one. I've been waiting for this one. We kind of held this one back towards the end of the catalog in our reviews. I did on purpose. I wanted to save this one till almost the end. So I'm glad we're finally here, and can't wait to get into it.
All right. Before we get out of the tracks, talk about the album cover just briefly here. Kind of cool. It's got looks like a microchip on the front, and a Queensrÿche coming out from it, and the light coming behind it is actually kind of cool. As I'm unfolding the inner sleeve for this thing here, I look at it has all the lyrics inside and the credits, which even with my reading glasses on, it's so small I can't read it either. But on the flip side of it, it's kind of cool because it has and it's interesting too. It has like a microchip of each guy on a panel, and they have Kelly Gray first. It's like goes Kelly, then Eddie, then Jeff, then Scott, then Michael. It's Kelly, then Michael, then Jeff, then Scott, then Eddie. So, like, they have the new guy first. I found that rather interesting. The thoughts on that was I don't know, but
is it alphabetical?
That out there.
Just running through it in my head. Would he be first alphabetically?
No, because Wilton is Michael's second, so that's a W.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So,
just a thought.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure. The CD itself is kind of cool. It's got it's black with gold lettering on it. It's got the microchips around it, and when you take the CD off, you got the inner thing. It's kind of cool. It's got like a cool Queensrÿche in there. So, just kind of cool packaging. I don't think I've ever seen this like re-released on vinyl or anything.
I was going to say, this has never been released on vinyl, has it?
I don't think, not that I'm aware of, unless there's some, unofficial copies out there, which, have been done, which I'm surprised they haven't really done that with the Queensrÿche catalog too. Because it's weird because there's a like Mindcrime 2 came after this, but there's vinyl of that. So I don't know. So maybe there's some out there. If listeners out there, if there are, just let us know, because I would love to have one if they did.
Sure you would.
Absolutely. All right, shall we do some tracks here?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to bring in the first one?
I'll start us off here. And like we said before, all songs are credited to the whole band. If you want to find out exactly who wrote what, check out the Building an Empire book. But first track is called Falling Down.
On the other side, 'cause I'm here on the inside of blue. If I'm you, I'm missing you. Yeah. Nothing seems to work as well. My face in the mirror looks like hell. I think I need to see a doctor. I watch the stuff and move line by line. I can't even think of a word that rhymes. Now it's I'm missing you. I'm missing you. Some days it feels, some days it's easy, some days it's real, some days it's easy.
All right. Yeah, it starts off with some cool, convoluted drums from the start with Scott. It's always good to hear Scott first on the album. It's got like a stop and start riff. The guitars have a scratchy feel to them, I think. I like the production already on this one. It's kind of, with the production on Here and the Now Frontier, it seems just kind of like it on the songs that had the distorted guitars. So it seems like it was just the next step from that. Jeff's vocals are really good from the start. There's a fantastic riff underneath the chorus. There's some screechy leads with the riff after the chorus that are kind of cool. There's a back and forth to the verses with the band that I think is very, very cool. And you get a great back and forth for the solo with one of the guitars using the wah pedal, which I'm assuming is Kelly Gray, because I know they're in reading the book that people were complaining about the overuse of the wah pedal on this album and his playing live. So I'm assuming that part of the solo is going to be Kelly. I like it. I love a good wah pedal as much as I love a good talk box. Then there's some dual guitars. You just get some dual guitars from right off the bat, which I'm glad that they have that like in the first song. Scott and Eddie are just killing it underneath. Goes back to the chorus for the end there. I like this one. I thought it was a good start. How about you?
Yeah, it's definitely a solid start to the album. I love the drum intro, like you mentioned. Scott maintains that same beat, throughout the majority of the song. It changes up a few times, I think, in the chorus, maybe the bridge, but that same beat just kind of drives the whole song, and that's hard as a drummer to maintain that same exact beat for that period of time. And he did this song very well live. This is a really cool live tune. I just love those two heavy chords that just kind of drive throughout the entire song. The lyrics are cool. I think it's a good kickoff song to this album in terms of lyrical content. It kind of sets the tone a bit. I really like I've always thought it's kind of a callback to Alice Cooper when he says, "I can't even think of a word that rhymes," which is also in what's that? School's Out. You mentioned the guitar solo. Again, we say this every episode. Listen to this album in headphones. Do yourself a favor. The production sounds so much better in headphones than it does like if you're listening in your car. Just incredible left to right panning in the solo. Like you can literally feel like you feel like you're looking back and forth on stage at who's playing the solo. Because it's so distinct. One's in the right ear, one's in the left ear. Really, really strong solo. I don't mind the wah pedal either at all. Probably wouldn't even have noticed it unless I'd read that in the book, but it doesn't bother me at all. I really like the backing vocals, the kind of call and response that they do. It's got a great hard stop at the end. There's no fade out, so you got to love that. It's a very heavy song. I think to start the album, people have been critical of this album that it's not heavy, like some old stuff. But there's a lot of heavy stuff on this album. This is one of them. I think Jeff's vocals are really strong. I love the lyric, because I'm here on the inside of blue without you. I just think that's a really cool use of imagery. And I think, as I said before, this is some of Tate's best lyric writing in his career on this album. We're going to get more into it. This song doesn't have a ton of lyrics, but Falling Down for me is a really strong opening track. Always liked it. Probably like it even more now than I did back in the day when it first came out. So yeah, great start to the album. So that brings us to track number 2. This is one that we have talked about on this show a couple of times. It's appeared on some lists. This is Sacred Ground. So Sacred Ground, to me, this is just a sexy sounding song, and that's not something you normally relate Queensrÿche music to. They don't have a lot of songs about sex. One that sticks out, of course, Anytime, Anywhere, that we've beaten to death over the last couple episodes. But to me, this is how Queensrÿche should write a song about sex. Like, it's not just in your face, anytime, anywhere, that's all. It's like, this is just like, it's rhythm, it's tempo. Like, the rhythm and tempo of this song to me, like, almost mimic the act of having sex. Like, it's got this rhythmic groove to it. It's got a bouncy beat and a really, really cool groove. There's just so many great things about this song, just the way it's composed. Like, I feel like it doesn't necessarily have that classic Queensrÿche build, but it just kind of builds and builds and builds as the song goes. Just like, the act of having sex. Like, the lyrics are sexy, like, we'll love till there's nothing left to give, matching every movement, swimming in an ocean of sweat and scent of you. Like, that's how you write a song about sex. It's not just, slide down my knees and taste my sword, as Nikki Sixx once wrote.
Pull the pin on my love grenade.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, and it's not just about sex. Like, this song's about intimacy. Like, this is about an intimate connection between two people. A lot of symbolism on this album, I think, in terms of the lyrical content. Like, this song is like, it got I mentioned, like, it's got a groove. It's got like a fluidity to it. Like, it just kind of flows. And I think the lyrics are about that, like whisper the flame. Like when you think of a flame, what does it do? It just kind of flickers and flows, as it's in the air. When I'm inside you, you bring me to sacred ground. Like that's just such cool imagery. It's not just about fucking, it's about like how I actually feel when we're in the act of this. And it's just that intimacy part is what I really love about the lyrics of this song and most of this album, actually. Like it's very personal. It's very intimate. I send waves of devotion over you. You take it all and give it back again. It's just a connection with two people. And I've connected with this song over the years. I think it's just an absolute standout track, not only on this album, but in the entire catalog. And I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. I know we've kind of danced around it a bit on other shows that we've done. We've never really talked about the song itself other than however it fit into that topic. So what do you got?
Yeah, I like it. Starts off with that like scratchy, loose riff. Another cool drum cadence from Scott. I love the groove feel to it. It just has that like you said, we're just grooving right along with your significant other. Great driving feel to it. And this song hit me right away when I first heard this album. It was another album that when I got it, it was in the era of, you had a CD player in the car, so I was able to, it's one of them where you're literally coming out of the record store and you're slicing the plastic off at the top of the CD with your pocket knife and opening it up as you're going to the car so you can immediately put it in the disc player when you get in the car. And, Falling Down was great. And then this one, I'm like, wow, this, like, just that, the rhythmicness of this song really hit me right away. Bridge where you get like two different vocal feels in there. One of my favorite Queensrÿche songs, and this was one of the reasons I'm glad that we did this album later on. All right, no Chris DeGarmo, but it still had that. Chris leaving the band for me didn't take away the Queensrÿche-ness of the band.
Queensrÿche-ness. You just created a word. I like it.
You like that?
I do.
So, I've always vibed with this song, and this song has made many playlists over the years. It's one of them songs that it's just you don't even know how to put it in words like why you like it or whatever. But I think this song is kick ass. Love it.
You like it because it's badass. That's why you like it.
It is. It's not rock or drivel, but I still love it.
That's pretty heavy though. It's got a pretty heavy drive.
It is, but it's not that fast beat though.
Yeah,
it's got that
it's
heavy groove to it. It's great.
It's groove metal, man.
Let's groove it, baby. All right, next track is going to be called One Life. Okay, here we go on this one. There's some little ringing feedback that starts off, and it's got some soft drums, some distorted noises. Then you get that bam. Jeff comes in with the vocals along with the band. It's got a plotting feel to it. The riff during the verses is good. There's some good background vocals in there. I feel that this one, it's got a Here and the Now Frontier feel to it for me. I think it would have fit good on there. Right before the solo, there's a muffled vocal part that annoys the shit out of me. The solo's pretty good. It's got a little soaring quality to it, but overall, I don't know. I think this song is boring. I don't know. I'm sure you will have a counterpoint to that probably, but the song is just blah. I don't know if it's just because it comes after Sacred Ground, but I'm not a huge fan of this one. It's okay, but it's pretty boring.
Yeah, musically, it's different for sure. It's got that kind of disheveled sounding introduction, like you mentioned. It's got the little rim shots, some like random chords and picking. It sounds like Eddie's like tuning his bass. It's just kind of all over the place, and then it's just, I think it's at the 37-second mark, it just explodes in with the band. They finally get it together. Musically, this song's okay. Like it is a little plodding. I love the muffled vocal part. I love that shit. And I love the guitar that's underneath that part of the song. If you listen to it real closely, there's like some really cool, like, I don't know if it's like kind of blues slide guitar stuff going on underneath that. It's just really, I had never really noticed it until listening to it in preparation for this episode. So yeah, musically it's kind of plodding. It's heavy though. I mean, it's got some really good heavy drumming. The chords are heavy sounding, but then it's just kind of, it never really goes anywhere musically. You know, it doesn't have that classic build. It doesn't have that apex or the, what's the word I'm looking for? The crescendo, you know, it's just kind of the same from start to finish. Lyrically, this song is freaking brilliant though. Like, I love the lyrics to this song. Another topic that Queensrÿche doesn't really ever touch that much, at least directly, and that's like, you know, faith and that sort of thing. I think this song really, really does connect on that level. I like the way it's kind of written in a couple of different perspectives. You've got the one verse where it's the man speaking, and then there's another verse where it's the woman speaking. And I don't know if they're a couple or what, but you know, the man who's lost everything, but yet he still prays. You know, he's got that kind of spiritual connection that he's able to realize that he's lost everything, but he can still get down on his knees and pray, and praying that things will work out. It's just like a raw, like kind of quiet faith, you know, just holding on to your beliefs no matter what's going on around you. The woman's segment is like the woman, she's breaking down. Her partner is like bottling everything up. The life's a mess. You know, they're kind of forgetting the vows that they once have. You know, that one love. It's just a reminder, like, you can't just fall in love. You got to work at it too. You got to show up, you know, in your relationships and things like that. It doesn't just happen. So yeah, I just think this song lyrically is really, really good. It's just, to me, it's about, you know, and I consider myself to be a person of faith, my language not withstanding sometimes, but like, you know, just bowing your head, bending your knee, and just remembering like the connection that you have with your spiritual side. It's very important. I love the fact that they, you know, Jeff wrote lyrics to that effect. And I think this kind of goes through where he was at that time, because if you read through, you know, the book, he went through some financial struggles despite the incredible success they had. He went through relationship struggles, and I think this album is just very, very personal. And like I said before, like, it hits me in a very personal place. Just about every song on this album, I really relate to the thoughts and words that he's doing. So yeah, musically overall, this song is just okay. Lyrically, I think it's brilliant. All right, that takes us to track number 4. This one's got some dots in the title, which I never really noticed. So, When the Rain Comes, ...
Then like in poetry, I go ... You know, kind of off center. Then I drop down, and then I go leaving his soul, part in the waters of the medulla oblongata of mankind.
You've come to me again, my friend. I've been waiting so long. Life seems strange and hard sometimes. Maybe I won't make it this time. Oh, they've taken all I have, but I just need what's left of today, and they can wash it all when it all comes down, and I'm feeling tired and afraid. You're always there and seem to come when I've nothing left to give away. Now I wait for your winds to come to give me breath for another day, and your rain to wash me. I feel it in my heart. Take away my pain. Wash me down.
All right, so this song, I'm just going to throw it out there at the beginning here. This song touches my soul the way no other song in their catalog does, and the way few songs in music do. I don't know what it is about this tune. It just hits me to the core of my being. The concert memory I have of this one, I may have told the story before. We were in front row, Q2K's tour, and Jeff hits the one, "Can you rain to watch me?" And he like holds it and he like spread his arms out. And as he did that, I had my hand in the air and he like grabbed my hand as he was hitting that note and like high-fived my hand. I felt like a connection. It's kind of weird, but that song it just like flowed through me at that moment. Like I just never connected with a live song the way I did that night. And just seeing the passion that he sang it with was just really, really special. The vocal on this song to me is one of his best in the entire catalog. And that was another criticism of this album, was like, oh, he's not doing the high stuff anymore. Well, no, he's not, because number one, this music doesn't really lend itself to that. He does it when it's appropriate, but he's really like in that sweet spot of his voice on this album. I think that tenor, range, that warmth, the depth that he has in that part of his voice. And it's always been my favorite part of Jeff Tate's performances. And I think this album is just one of those. But this song, like, I've always been a big fan of The Rain. It's always looked at as something that can be cleansing or healing. It gives you like renewal, that sort of thing. It gives life to the world, for everything that requires water to live, which is damn near everything. This song just strikes me like, because I've always felt that way. Like when it rains, like I just feel like a cleansing. I love the way the world smells. I love like when you go outside after a rainstorm. The lyrics of the song like just connect with me so much. Like life seems strange and hard sometimes. Maybe I won't make it this time. Like we've all been there. I've been there, especially at this point in my life. Like I said, I had 3 small kids. I was struggling. And then like you need that thing in your life that just keeps you going and keeps you cleansed, and like for this song, the imagery of the rain is kind of that thing. And like, this song is just always like, it makes me feel like no matter how far down you are or like how deep down you are to like next to nothing, like that rain's still going to come. You're still going to have that opportunity to cleanse and to be not reborn, but just to have that feeling of renewal, I guess, you know, and that's why this song just, to me, fucking flawless. I love this song, even like musically. I think Michael Wilton was credited, well, at least in the book, with writing all the music to this song. Hats off, Michael. This song is perfect for me musically, vocally, lyrically. This is a perfect 10 out of 10 song for me.
Boy, am I glad you went first on this one. Okay, When the Rain Comes. It's got an acoustic start for some soft Jeff vocals there. It goes up a little bit. There's plenty of layered vocals in there. It's got like another slow plodding feel to it. I'm like, come on, guys. This is not the rock or drivel that I come to Queensrÿche for. The solo, the melodic solo is very good.
Yeah, I didn't mention the solo. The solo is fantastic.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, this is definitely, you know, spoiler, not a favorite song of the album for me, but this is one that, like, you need your headphones on, because when the solo's going on the other side, listen to the guitar, the other guitar besides the solo. It's like, it like instantly caught me. That was the high point of the song for me, and I'm glad that you are our lyric guy, because I hear a song like this, like the kind of like it's in the mid-tempo range of this album, and I don't know if I'm just not paying as much attention, and I'm not a lyric guy. This is not a great one for me.
Oh my God!
Like I said, I'm glad you went first. I heard your mouth hit the table there, I think. It's just there for me.
There's one other thing I didn't mention that I never really noticed until this week. Part where he's like, "Now wait for your winds to come." Like underneath that part, like there's this little chugga 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 guitar that I'd never noticed before. I've listened to this song probably 1,000 times in my life, and I've never noticed it until this week in headphones. And it's just cool. It's just like a little chugga chugga under the lyrics. It's you don't even know it's there unless you're really listening for it. So, no, Steve, I fully am prepared for you to hate the majority of the stuff on this album that I love. I've already accepted that coming into this. This song is a lyric writer's, or this album is a lyric writer's dream, and that's what I connect with in music. Like I gotta feel it. Like I'm not gonna say I don't care what the music is, but the music has to be good also. But like, if I connect with a song lyrically and vocally, the way it's performed, like I'm done. Like I'm in. So
yeah, I mean, Jeff's vocals are fantastic on this. I do give that up for it. But like I said, it's not what I go to the band for. But I get the, I don't even want to say reason for these songs. I mean, these guys are going to write what they're going to write. But it's just there for me.
It's evolution, Steve. It's like these people are
get
growing and evolving as people, and they're not going to write Queen of the Reich when they're 45, or they're not going to write
absolutely
Warning
not.
or whatever. They're going to write shit about life, and that's
because you when you're a young metal band, you get that shit out of your system early, and then you start writing things as your life happens. Absolutely. For a band like this, someone like Halloween or something like that, they're going to, write about, metal stuff. But, Queensrÿche, you get the whole kind of gambit of everything from these guys.
Well, that's one of the things I think we mentioned it before. I think I at least thought it before. Like I give them all the respect in the world, because like they hit it huge with Empire, And it would have been really easy to just record another Empire. Let's just write a few more hit songs. But they didn't do that. They wrote a extremely personal album, in Promised Land that didn't lend itself to hit singles, and then they followed that up with Here to Now Frontier, which went even further. And then this album to me is even more personal than Promised Land was. Maybe for one person, since Jeff wrote all the lyrics, whereas Promised Land was a lot of DeGarmo contributions, but this one, like, this is Jeff Tate throwing his fucking soul on paper, or on a recording. All right. Was fully expecting that, so let's move on to the next one that you're probably going to trash.
Moving along. How could I? Question mark. More punctuation. There we go.
Fuck that song.
Yeah, fuck that
Kevin would say.
That's the very first thing I thought of when I saw that. I'm like, oh, here we go, more punctuation. Yep.
There you were, like a ghost from my early days, staring straight ahead at me. How could I ever guess from that moment on just how everything would change? How could I know? I recall something strange coming over me, somewhat at a loss for words. I've been around and had my share of what I thought my soul could bear, but never seen what I saw in your eyes. How could I tell? We never took it slow. We gave it all we had and more. How could I tell? We never took it slow. We gave it all we had. We gave it all we had.
Yeah, the ringing guitars fade into another kind of mid-tempo cadence on this one. Scott's shuffling drum beat is really, really cool on this one. It's got a murky feel in there. Picks up for the bridge, then builds back into the solo. That's got a great bluesy feel to it. I think the solo is really, really good on this one. And like the first kind of parts of the song, I'm like, but like it picks up like the second third of the song really saves it for me. But it does, like, towards the end, the intensity seems to pick up and build on it, which really kind of pulls me back in for this one.
Yeah, this one is another mid-tempo type tune. I think that's the one thing, if I was doing something differently on this album, I think I've loved every song we've listened to so far, some more than others, but there's just like this block of 4 songs right in the middle that are all very kind of mid to down tempo. And I think that if they would have done some differences with the sequencing, it would have been a little better. It does feel like I don't want to say monotonous, but it just feels like it's kind of the same tempo for a long period of time on this album, which I understand, like, people like yourself, no offense, but like, there's not what you go to Queensrÿche for. Like, if you get 4 songs in a row like that, you're gonna be like, oh, this album kind of sucks. Whereas,
yeah, the sequencing is not great.
Yeah, it's not. I admit that they should have put something heavier or faster paced in the middle of these songs to kind of break it up a little bit. But it is what it is. So, How Could I is a song that I've never, over the years, I've never been a huge fan of this song. Like, I never really connected with it until the last 10 years or so. It's okay. I've always enjoyed it. I never skipped it, but it just was never really like a favorite on this album. And then something happened in my life and it made me understand this song lyrically, because this is one of the ones I was just never like, it just is what it is. When I met my wife, I'm sure I've told you this story. It was just like complete coincidence that we were both in the same place at the same time and met where we did and how we did. And this song is basically about that. And it makes you feel like it's kind of written about like that, love at first sight kind of concept. And the line, there you were, like a ghost from my early days, the first line of the song, like I felt that way like the night I met my wife. Like I met her, I knew 5 minutes in that I was going to marry her and that she is what I'd been looking for my entire life. Like I didn't know that's what I was looking for, but then I found it. And as soon as I found it, I immediately knew that's what it was. And that's kind of where I connected with this song. And again, this album, these lyrics are like deeply personal to me, and you can rip on them all you want. That's fine. I'm not going to get offended, but like, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm barely talking about music on this album, just because this album to me has just been like poetry that I've enjoyed my entire life, more so than the music. Other lyrics, we never took it slow, we gave it all we had and more. Like, that was just kind of the way our relationship was. Like, it just went right out of the gate. Everything was great. We enjoyed spending time together, and things just progressed quickly and quicker than I ever thought they ever could or should. But it all just felt right. And like, that's my connection to this song. Is like, when I hear this song now, I think about the way I met my wife, the relationship I have with her. And that's why this song has elevated in my mind. Musically, it's still not one of my favorites on the album, but I dig it a lot. All right, so moving on. That's going to take us to track number 6, another slow to mid-tempo song that I'm sure Steve's going to hate, Beside You. All right, so we're getting back to the spiritual imagery in this song. The way it begins, take your children down to the water, wash their heads and sing, holy, holy. I'm wondering, what the hell am I listening to? What is going on with Queensrÿche here? But this is kind of, for me, goes back to that whole cleansing theme that they've had, for when the rain comes. Water, it's about, purification. It's about renewal, blessing, that sort of thing. I just think it's a really cool way to start a song. You're like, what is happening here? And then it just kind of starts. It's a very mellow song. This is another one that I feel a very personal connection with lyrically. I think the vocal on this song is great. I think Jeff sounds fantastic on this song. This song to me is written from like a perspective of being a guy, and how do you be a man and be all the things that society says you should be as a man, but still be able to deal with emotions and love and that sort of thing. And it took me a while, like the whole lyric about an island, like I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like an island. Then it kind of dawned on me one day when he talks about build each wall stone by stone. It's like, those are the walls you put up around yourself, as a guy, to keep your vulnerabilities in and all that kind of stuff. And like, you build those walls of stone, brick stone by stone, based on your experiences that happen through life, and you have to behave in a certain way because you're a guy. You can't be emotional because you're a guy. You can't be vulnerable because you're a guy. You can't have the same kind of love for a child because you're a guy. It's different than what it is for the mother, and that's what the song's about. Like, it's about like a struggle of like masculinity. Like, how am I a man, but I can still feel and all these emotions and all this stuff. So the line that's always, it gets me, man. Like when he says, the day you were born, I held you small and helpless crying, your life and mine entwining. Like, I remember that moment when kids were born, the first time you hold them, you look into their eyes and like, you just feel like, oh my God, this is like a little me, and all those experiences you have, and you just think about all the things that they're going to experience and all the hopefully success and pain, and you just know what they've got in store for them as a baby, and it's a very just powerful lyrics. I think as I looked into your eyes, I saw myself in an overview, and I'm reaching out to you from this island. Like I'm all alone, isolated on this island, but you're my kid, so I've got to do what I got to do to be beside you, for your entire life. So again, musically, it's a down-tempo song. I love it. I've always loved this song. I love the vocal delivery. Not really a whole lot to talk about musically. It's just kind of it's not really a ballad. It's just kind of I don't know what this song would even be classified as, but it's just, to me, a beautiful song. It's beautifully written, and another standout for me.
Okay, beside you, back down to the clean guitars, some whispered lines for the start. Then we're off into another slog for me, and I think that for me, if I'm not interested in the song musically, I'm not even going to delve into the lyrics at all for as little as I do that anyways. So I'm glad you explained that to me, because like I really just kind of am by now with these last three songs. I'm kind of zoned out a little bit, yeah, and I do like the little leads that are sprinkled in there, here and there. The cool solo, the echoing on it is pretty cool. If you could call it a solo, it's pretty much just some leads with the chorus over them. At this point, I'm like, come on, guys, you're fucking killing me here. It's okay for me. I'll just say that the last three songs have never made a playlist of Queensrÿche playlist for me.
I'm sad for you.
That's okay. Okay, next track is called Liquid Sky.
I ain't no Romeo, I'm just a man for you, holding out as secrets travel, they gotta get to you. Everybody says that it could have been something. There was a smart kid, never knew a good thing. Always hearing voices swim in your liquid sky. Skies
Okay, whew. Okay, we got past that area. This one starts off some dual leads, like, yes, thank you. Some up-tempo drums, then it goes down a little bit for the verses. The scratchy guitars during the vocals, I think, are very cool. The background vocals are fantastic on this one. I'm like, okay, finally, here we go. One thing, though, I did find, and I think it especially stood out on this song, and we really haven't talked about it as much as, well, I don't think at all, as we usually do. The bass is way too low in the mix on this album.
It is, 100%. Except
Like,
for there's a few points where it's not, but overall it is. You're right.
I know. And Tim, we do not get a whole lot of
Eddie, fucking Jackson.
Thank you. I found myself on this song like listening for it. Like, okay, what's Eddie doing on this one? And it's great, but it's just so low in the mix. It pisses me off. Scott's drumming is fantastic on this one. I like the crunch of the chords at times. Great feeling during the chorus. And this is another song, there's really kind of no actual solo on it, but like those leads in there are very cool. Picks up in intensity towards the end and then goes back down vocally at the end. Like, this was a refreshing for me after the last couple ones, and I know this is more of what I come to these guys for. So like they're back, and like you said, like the sequencing in this album is not the greatest, but we're back to something with distorted guitars and drums and low bass. Come on, whoever was at the dials for this, Ed, we gotta get you in there, buddy.
Well, it was produced by Queensrÿche, so it's his fault.
I know. Was he out of the studio when they did the mixing?
Yeah,
or whatever?
They pulled a Jason Newsted on him. They're like, turn Eddie down. He won't notice.
Yeah, this is like one of the, and it's weird too because like we always on all the albums so far there's always been like that, Tim's Eddie fucking Jackson moments on it, and we're not getting them.
Yeah, that is very very true on this album. And one of the things you said, there's not like a true solo in a lot of these songs. And I think that was one of the criticisms for a lot of fans had, was that they kind of went like in a more like alternative, not grunge direction, but just like in terms of song structure, because a lot of that alternative music or grunge music didn't have solos. It just had, little guitar interludes or whatever you want to call it in between parts. And a lot of these songs are kind of structured that way. And I think that was just a sign of the times. I don't think it was them making a conscious decision to, we're not going to do this anymore because we're going to be an alternative band now. I just think it was just kind of the way songwriting was evolving at that period of time. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's just kind of where we were. But Liquid Sky, I knew you would love this one because it picks back up in tempo and pace. I've always really liked this song. Love the way it starts with that smack of the snare and then the guitars coming in. A good heavy tone throughout the song. It's got a real, again, like fluidity to it. And, the name of the song's Liquid Sky, so you would kind of expect that. It goes back to like a similar theme we've heard a lot about, liquids and rain and water and fire and stuff on this album. So it kind of keeps with that theme. I think the vocal on this song is really strong. I've always loved the special effects on the vocals when it does like the towards the end. And the kind of the call and response during the chorus. I love the standing on the edge, waving, it's really, really cool imagery in this song. It's another one, like you listen to, again, I know you're not a lyric guy, but that's what I'm here for. Like, this song's about like inner turmoil, it's struggling with like who you are. It took me a while to figure this out. I've researched these lyrics a lot too. Like I've looked for interviews and things and tried to, put my own spin on my own interpretation on what I thought they were. Like, this tune to me is just about inner turmoil and struggle, and I'm like, what does Liquid Sky mean? And I think that's like the thoughts in your head. You're always hearing voices swim in your liquid sky. Your brain is just a mess, of thoughts and things. And I think that's kind of where that comes from. At least that's how I interpret it. I also like the fact that it's like, got some really cool imagery, like the I ain't no sacred idol or a saint pretending. I'll build you up. I'll tear you down. I'll turn you wrong side in. It's just a very powerful lyric. Like, it's just basically saying, like, I'm not perfect. I'll do the best I can to build you up, but I'm going to fuck up too. I'm going to tear you down and I'll probably hurt you at some point, because that's just who I am. It's who we are as people. It's just what happens. And we don't want to do it. It just kind of happens. And I think it's because of that liquid sky in our head, Yeah, I just think this is a really cool song. It's about, to me, just emotional turbulence in your head. We've all got those voices in our head, Steve. Sometimes I hear you when I'm laying in bed at night. I hear you saying things like, When the Rain Comes isn't a good song, and it makes me want to scream. But I hear voices in my head all day long. I'm not going to lie. Most of the time it's me talking to myself internally, but there's other stuff you hear, and like, I get it.
100%.
I get this song. Like, I get what he's trying to say, and sometimes it's very difficult to navigate through that stuff. It's just like, I always feel like I've got noise in my head. It's like mental chaos, and like trying to struggle through that sometimes is a little harder than it should be, I think.
I think I'm going to be your agent. I want you to write a book interpreting the lyrics of the whole Queensrÿche catalog.
I would totally do that.
From start to finish.
I would totally do that.
So,
I'll
only take 10%.
This album, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I've always just, I think it goes back to like when it came out and where I was in life. Like, it just spoke to me. And even later on, like, I went through kind of like a musical blackout period from like 2000 to 2005-ish, where I was like, just going through personal struggles and marriage struggles and all that sort of thing. And like, just didn't have a lot of time for music, because I was just had other shit going on. Music was my escape, but I just didn't have a lot of time for it. And like, this album came out right during that, and I really connected with it. It was one that I just kind of latched on to, it's one of those things that's like always been there for me. This album has gotten me through like some hard times in my life, which is a part of why I love it so much. Spoiler alert. So anyway, yeah, I would love to do that. Speaking of next songs, let's go to track number 8. This is Breakdown. We got a nice heavy tune for you here, Steve. This is the Hit the Black of this album. This is like the metal tune, I think. The song just sounds kind of chaotic, and I think that's kind of what they were going for. I really like just the chaotic feel of the music. Like, it's very heavy. It's all over the place, but at the same time, it's one of those songs like we always talk about, Hit the Black. It sounds like a freight train about to go off the track, and they keep pulling it back in. This song's kind of the same way. I think Jeff's vocals are really strong. I think just the guitar tone and everything in this song is just really good. Scott's drumming, always a standout. I think he's one of the highlights of this album all the way through. Really, really drives this song. This is another song, like, lyrically, I just connect with, man. It's about like that emotional chaos that we just heard in Liquid Sky. This is like when you get to the point where it's like, all right, I've had enough. And sometimes you got to let it out, whether that's pounded on tables and chairs or beating the shit out of a punching bag, or hopefully you don't take it out on another person or anything. But sometimes you just got to get it out. And that's like what this song is about to me. Like, it's just, I'm ready for the takedown. I'm headed for a breakdown. It's just, this is the guy at his breaking point. He's gone through all this other stuff. I won't say this is a concept album, but it sure does follow similar themes like throughout this album. And then when you have that breakdown, it's like a personal moment, like, welcome to my scene, a place that's in between where squares fit the round. It's my scene. This is my personal breakdown. And it says, some affectionately call it my breakdown. And I just think that's very powerful. And it's self-aware, it's like Jeff saying, I'm ready to break, and this is it. It's just a song for me. It's about pressure. It's about the pressure you feel as an adult, as a human being, and the point in your life where you finally break. And the music, I think, perfectly reflects that. It's a heavy song. It's a chaotic song. It's just it's a great banger of a tune overall.
Yeah, Breakdown. This was, I believe, the first thing that Michael wrote with Kelly, and like I said in the demos earlier, it was called Breakdown Room. You get a little count in on this one, I think is cool. Like a little grungy, grimy riff, good vocal cadence in this one. Not much of a chorus because you get the breakdown. It's not a chorus in how you usually get them for Queensrÿche.
Yep. After
he says breakdown, and this song is absolutely a must for your headphones. The riff gets louder after he says breakdown. Mm-hmm. It's just, I was like it really stood out. The ringing leads are really cool. After the chorus, there's a heavy thumping cadence during the solo, some cool echoes in there. There's a really cool chunky bridge after the solo that kind of is like a bridge between the two solos, because then you get some wah pedal stuff after that I think is fantastic. Lots going on at the end. Like at the end of this song, there's like, and like you said, it's like watching
it's a train wreck.
Either a tennis match or you're looking back and forth because it's going back and forth in your headphones. And like this song, if they threw this song in the middle of those three songs, I think would have been better. Not like track 8 on the album, like throw it maybe, I don't know, like throw it like maybe track 4, track 5. I think this would have been really good. But it's great on the back end too, though. But it has me. They got me back now. The last two songs, they're pulling me back in.
That was their intention, Steve. They wrote this with you in mind.
I know it. And I appreciate that. I absolutely do. Yep. Next track, Burning Man. Starts out with some muted notes. I kind of like the little different production things that they do at some of the beginning of these songs. You get the muted notes, they fade in. Then you get that rapid drum cadence from Scott. Scott is killing it on this album, by the way. Like a Stark riff comes in, and then there's like more ringing leads in there. I like that too. There's like a lot of like ringing kind of leads on this album. The pace of this one is great. I love the pace of it. But there's a different and cool, like we definitely get a bass on this one. There's like but it's a different bass tone during the verses that's in there, and I think it's very cool. We finally, like, you get something from Eddie that stands out. And during the solo we get more of those ringing leads. And it's not much of a chorus either on this one, but it's there. And listening to this, I forgot how cool this is, because like this album lost me like on side, which would be side one. But like if you listen to a CD, it's right through. So those songs, like really 3, 4, and 5, and 6, really pretty much like made me not listen to this album as much. But then when I got back into it, and I'm like, wow, Burning Man, I forgot how cool this song was. There's some great vocal layering in there that is a really good fit for it. And this is a fun track for me. This one I like. I'm back, baby. They're back.
Yeah, very, very up-tempo song. The first thing that jumps out at me, and I've always thought this sounds like a U2 song. Like imagine U2 playing this and Bono singing this song. This is a freaking U2 song to me.
Don't ruin it for me.
It is. I mean, it sounds so much like a U2 tune. That's not a bad thing. I like U2, but I just think that this is a very different kind of sounding song for them. It's kind of happy feeling. It's got that very up-tempo riff or lick going through the whole thing. Very almost frantic pace of this song. Like you said, Scott's drumming is really, really strong on this one. Lyrically, there's not a lot going on. There's only a few lines in this song. Miles of desert fly, the quiet of dawn. I ride the winds of morning to see the man that's burning. Burning Man. That's pretty much it. I feel the heart of conscience returning. That's why the man is burning. I don't got a lot for that one. I got to be honest. I don't know if it's about like awakening, reflection. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Burning Man signifies. So this is just a very okay song for me. This is a filler track, I think. It just doesn't really do much for me. It's fine. It was a fun live song. I think they actually, if I remember right, they closed the Q2K or the Electric Shockwaves, they called it, tour with this song. This was the closing song of the whole show, and I remember it being a really fun live song. But there's just not much to it. Like it's just kind of there. It's quick and it's there and it ends. And but musically, I like it. It just has always reminded me of a U2 song, but this is not a standout track on this album for me. All right, here we go.
Yes.
Did not plan it this way, but this one gets introduced by me. Let's listen to What Kind of Man? First word I have here is why. Why the fuck do you spell the word what? W-O-T. It drives me out of my freaking mind. Immediately makes me hate this song before I ever hear one note. Now that said, it's actually a pretty good song. I do like the song itself, but that annoys me to no end. I don't know what Jeff Tate's fascination is with the word what. This is what the second or third time. This is, I think, the first time in the catalog, but it happens at least two or three times, I think, before the end. I just don't understand. It makes me crazy. But yeah, overall, the song's pretty good. I think there's a part.
Sometimes
the lyrics, the guitar, and the bass right there, it's just very different and just badass. Like that bass sound. It's what you mentioned before. You don't get a lot of standout moments from Eddie Jackson on this album, but there's one right there. I think it's just a really, really interesting little musical part there. Vocally, it's okay. It's not one of Jeff's best performances, I don't think, but it's just okay. This is just a solid kind of back half of the album. I don't want to call it a filler song, but it's kind of a filler song. But lyrically, it's pretty deep. I mean, it's a song about, what kind of man are you? This is, I think, somebody that was whose father left at an early age, is Mr. Tate. I know he was raised by his mom, and not having that male example in your life. And how are you going to be a better man and a better person when you didn't have that role model in your life? And I really like the line, "Now I'm the man at the end of your family tree," and that's powerful. Like, if you don't have somebody to take on the family tree like that, and you're the end of the line, like what do you do? Like, how do you respond to that? I always thought that was a really interesting line in this song. But outside of the spelling of the title, this is a pretty good one. I've always liked this song. I kind of like the message.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did that for you.
I'm sure they did.
Your part for that one. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh. And it's funny how it worked. We do not plan who's going to have what song. We just say, okay, Ray, you go first on this one or whatever when we start. And it's funny how they've been working out like that. So I was hoping, like when the rain comes down, I'm like, thank God Ray went first on that one. On this one, I'm like, thank God Ray went first on this one. So it worked out good. For me, anyways. Yeah, it's got a big start with some wah pedal in there, and I'm digging the wah pedal. I think it gives the music just another dimension. I think for Queensrÿche, that you don't you haven't had. I won't say you didn't have any of that throughout the whole catalog, because just thinking back, but like you didn't have this much of it, which I love it. And this one, damn, throw it in here, Tim.
Eddie fucking Jackson!
That bass tone on this one, it's right in your head. This is one I like. And this has got that sort of heavy funk feel to it, and like Scott's use of the bell on the ride cymbal on this one
during
is
the chorus,
absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I mean, definitely stands out. And once again, there's some really cool swirly headphone gymnastics going on for the solo section. This was good. I forgot about this one. Like I said, for how the album is sequenced, it kind of like made me not listen to the last part of the album. But like once we started getting back into it, that we were going to do this one, we figured out we were going to have it coming up. And I'm like, okay, I'm so glad that I was kind of not forced to, but listening to the whole album. So this is another good one for me.
Yeah, the problem I always had with this song, and honestly, this was always the one I would skip because I wanted to get to the next one, because I think the album closes so great. For whatever reason, I just never really spent a lot of time with this song. But like you said, as I listened to it this week, I kind of rediscovered it, and I really like it. Really, really do.
All right, and speaking of the final track on the album, this one's called Right Side of My Mind.
Are you okay? it seems strange to swallow. The frontiers of our minds is the last place we find, but maybe the first place we should go. I'd love to take you and see what I
Right, yeah, and we have talked about this song before. We did this when we did the Live Evolution album. This is a song that's on there. I really like this one. This was called The Right Side. This was one of the early demos that they did too, so then they made it to The Right Side of My Mind. And it's got some kind of like a Pink Floyd-ish feel to me on this one. And it's such a good, like, slow burn, I think. Eddie and Scott are in the pocket once again on this one. And I don't know what happened production-wise on this album where, you know, really like the first like 8 tracks or whatever, you really don't get a lot of bass. And, you know, you hear Scott really well, but you don't hear Eddie. But like they're right in the pocket on this one. They melded really great on this one. The solo section is absolutely fantastic in this one, and I just like the main thing that I like about this song is its understated heaviness. It's not like in your face, but it's like kind of just like is in the back of your head, just like giving you a jab in the back of your head. Just that understated heaviness of it just is fantastic and kick-ass album ender. We're gonna have to do an episode or two down the line, ranking album openers and closers at some point. I'm sure we'll get to, and this one could be one that could be up high on the list for excellent Queensrÿche album closers.
Yeah, my notes are almost identical to yours. My first note is very Pink Floyd-y sounding, and then this is a perfect album closer for, to me, a damn near perfect album. I know we differ on that, but this as a closer is phenomenal. I like that the understated heaviness that you said. That's a really good way to put it. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's a perfect example for it. It's almost like a slow, like you said, slow burn. It just builds and builds and builds until it really does kind of explode at the end, because the ending of this song is just sick. Like that fucking note that Jeff Tate hits and holds. 15-20 second note that he hits. And I remember, again, going back to that live performance, seeing him do that live and watching the vein in his forehead just get bigger and bigger as he held that note. was spectacular to see that close up. And he did this song also on his last tour, last solo tour that we saw at Jurgles, and crushed it again. Was just phenomenal how good this song sounded live. I don't know that many people in the crowd knew it, but those of us that did were losing our shit. So always been a standout track for me. The video, have you ever seen the video for this song?
No.
Yeah, there's a video for this song. It's kind of weird and trippy. It's like almost like a cartoon.
As it should be.
Yeah, it's really cool though. I've always enjoyed it. Actually, I remember seeing it on VH1 Classic. Like I was just up one night doing something and like, is that Right Side of My Mind? It was like, and yeah, it was. And I'd never seen it up to that point. And then I've gone back and watched it on YouTube a bunch of times. But yeah, there's definitely a video for this song, and it's actually really, really cool. Yeah, just a really great moody song. It's got a pretty positive message though, like underneath the kind of the darkness and the heaviness. Like it's basically, to me, just talking about gaining that mental clarity, that we talked about struggling with, a few songs ago with Liquid Sky and Breakdown. This is the one where you're finally kind of breaking through that, and you're getting into that right side of your mind, which is where you want to be. So I think it ends the album on like kind of a positive note. There's been a lot of songs about, personal struggle and personal turmoil, just emotional type stuff. And I think this one kind of ends it on a good note. The frontier of our minds is the last place we find, but maybe the first place we should go. Whenever you're having struggles, the first place to go is inside. Look at yourself and figure out how you can change things to make things better for yourself. So yeah, I just think this ends the album on a great musical note. It ends on a great lyrical note, on a positive note. Just an absolute banger of a closing song, for sure. All right, we got to the end. Any closing thoughts on Q2K before we rank, or do you want to do that afterwards?
Let's do it after.
All right, so as we always do when we do these episodes, we are going to rank the songs from number 11 down to number 1. And I have a feeling there's going to be some major gaps in our rankings for this album. So, Steve, you want to start us off with your number 11?
I don't know
say
if you
when
want
the
me
rain
to.
comes, I'm never doing this show with you again.
Okay, it's been fun doing this podcast, and hope you guys enjoyed our past episodes. So, however, my number 11 is One Life.
You got punked.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. Now we can carry on.
It was, well, I'll get into it.
My number 11, and just because it's a U2 song, is Burning Man.
Really?
Yes.
All
Because
right,
he says na 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 in the chorus.
Oh, you gotta have a good na-na every now and then. Number 10 is When the Rain Comes for me.
Dear God. Hang on, I have to recover. Okay, my number 10 is your number 11, One Life.
All right, we're close on them. Number 9, I have Beside You.
Okay. My number 9 is, and I gotta be honest, it's the damn spelling knocks it down, even though it's a great song. What Kind of Man?
Wow. Number 8 is How Could I? Punctuation, question mark.
Fuck that song. Number 8 for me is the opening track, Falling Down.
Really? Wow. All right, I see where yours is going. Number 7 for me would be Liquid Sky.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's much lower than I thought it would be. Okay, number 7 for me is your number 9, Beside You.
Okay, number 6 is going to be What Kind of Man?
Are you ranking these as we go?
I'm adjusting as we go.
Okay. Thought there was a little hesitation there. All right, What Kind of Man for number 6? My number 6 is How Could I? Question mark.
Number 5 is Breakdown.
Holy shit, we have a match. My number 5 also Breakdown.
Oh, all right, cool. Number 4, I have Right Side of My Mind.
Stop the presses, 2 in a row. Number 4, Right
Really?
Side of My Mind.
No shit. All right. Number 3, you've already had this one down, and Falling Down, number 3 for me.
All right, my number 3, you had it number 7, Liquid Sky.
Interesting. Number 2, I think was your number 10, maybe. Burning Man.
Wow. Yeah, we do have some discrepancies here. Okay. All right, my number 2, which is, by looking at this chart, going to be your number 1, Sacred Ground.
And you said it. My number 1,
Sorry,
Sacred Ground.
stole your thunder.
That's all right.
And that leaves my number 1, my all-time favorite song on this album, without question, When the Rain Comes. I cannot believe you have that song at number 10. It just blows my mind.
It was close to 11.
I
trust
encourage
me.
you to listen to it again. Listen to the words, feel it. Listen to the passion
try.
in Jeff Tate's voice. It's not just about rocker drivel, Steve. It's about
I know
connection
that.
with a song.
I promise I will try to listen to it again. Try. I mean, not that I didn't listen to it, but I will try
With
to listen
intent.
to it with more intent.
There you go.
Yes. Okay.
This ranking for me was really hard because I literally love every song on this album, like from start to finish. Like there's nothing that I would change. There's nothing I would take off. I think this is a almost perfect album. It's one of my all-time favorite records overall, which if you rank my top 25 albums, probably 8 of them are Queensrÿche albums. So not spoiling where it falls in my Queensrÿche rankings, but like this is like a top 25 all-time album for me. I've probably listened to this as much as I've listened to Operation Mindcrime, if not probably a little less, let's say, because since this is newer. But this album to me is just songwriting brilliance from Jeff Tate lyrically, just connected with me in a place where I was in my life, where he was in his life. And I could talk to Jeff Tate for 3 hours about the lyrics on this album because they've meant that much to me over the years. And musically, I think it's great too. I think it's different. It's a change of direction again, because that's what they do. The only thing I would change, I said before, I wouldn't change anything, is that sequencing thing. I would break up those 4 songs in the middle because I do think that it does tend to drag a little bit through the middle section of the album. But I like each one of those songs individually on their own merits. But like all together, it does get a little monotonous through that, probably 20 minutes of listening. So totally agree with you there. They should have put something more up tempo in the middle of those. I'm sure there's a reason why they did it. I don't know. I fucking love Q2K.
Yeah, for me, overall, the album, like we talked about before, definitely a transitional period for the band, sound-wise too, but that's how they roll, and there's no, they're not AC/DC from like 1990 to, well, I won't count 90 because Razor's Edge was really good, but like from Razor's Edge on, pretty much boom, 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 you're getting the same thing. The differentness is good. It was, a different guitar sound. You hit, like I said, you get that wah pedal, you get a little extra dimension in there. Soloing wise, there's not a lot of guitar soloing on this one. We do get some songs with the dual leads, but like not as much. I think this may be, well, besides Here and the Now Frontier, the album that has the least amount of that on there, just thinking coming to mind, because even the newer stuff, like we've talked about, like doing The Verdict and, DNA and stuff, there's a lot of like the dual, classic kind of Queensrÿche dual lead guitar stuff. You don't have a lot of that on this album, but I like this one. I played, I skipped some songs, obviously, but I was glad to come back to this and kind of rediscover the songs in the back half of the album. Like, Breakdown I knew because that was on Live Evolution, like Burning Man, and Liquid Sky and stuff like that. So it's a good one, though. It's still Queensrÿche. I think I saw them on this tour. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I got this, like every Queensrÿche album, like as closest to release date as I could get. And like I said, I miss those days of, walking out of the record store and cutting the plastic off and just immediately throwing the disc in your car. Yeah. Because anymore, when you go to buy something, you've already heard it pretty much anymore. So, and like when I go to the record store now, I'm buying like a vinyl record. So like, I may buy a record, and I actually have a couple out there that I haven't even opened yet. So it was a different time, and it was like, okay, here's the new Queensrÿche, let's check it out. I know they got a new guy. Just the interestingness of it, I think was cool. And to just, hear a different guy in there brought a different dimension to the band. And it's good. It's Queensrÿche. You're going to get something different every time.
Yep. And that's, like I said before, I never understood why people get so caught up in that. It's like they've never released 2 albums in a row that sounded like the one before, ever. Like every album in the catalog has a different direction than the one before it and the one after it. Like, I get it. If you don't like the direction, that's fine. But you can't say it doesn't sound like Queensrÿche because, well, yeah, it does, because that's what they do. They
right.
reinvent themselves on every album, but still keep the overall like theme, like what's the right word, like the mood or whatever it is of the band intact, even though the sound is different.
The vibe.
Yeah, the vibe. That's the perfect word. And that's what they did here. I mean, it was a new beginning. It was a new member. Chris DeGarmo was gone. I mean, it's obviously going to sound different. If you lose one of your primary songwriters and your founding member, lead guitarist guy, duh, it's going to sound different. It doesn't mean it's bad just because it's different.
Right. Absolutely. Let's rank it.
Oh boy. Okay, so we've done 14 albums to date, 15 with Q2K being added. So currently my number 14 is Take Cover. 13, Dedicated to Chaos. Number 12, the self-titled Queensrÿche Todd La Torre debut. Number 11, Frequency Unknown. Number 10, Condition Human. Number 9, Here and the Now Frontier. Number 8, Operation Mindcrime 2. Number 7, The Warning. Number 6, DNA. Number 5, The Verdict. Number 4, Rage for Order. Number 3, Empire. Number 2, Promised Land. Number 1, Operation Mindcrime. This album, for me, is going to go right behind Rage for Order at number 5.
Wow.
Ahead of The Verdict, ahead of DNA, ahead of The Warning by miles for those albums. This is right up there. If I could re-rank, which we might at some point, my album list, it might even go a notch higher if I could re-rank some other stuff. But for me right now, it's number 5.
Okay, my rankings are starting at 14, Dedicated to Chaos, 13, Take Cover, 12, Frequency Unknown, 11, Condition Human, self-titled at number 10, Here in the Now Frontier at number 9, Operation Mindcrime Part 2 at 8, The Verdict at 7, DNA at 6, Promised Land at 5, Rage for Order at 4, Warning at 3, Empire 2, Mindcrime at 1, and I am putting this at number 9, in between Operation Mindcrime 2 and Here in the Now Frontier.
Okay.
Little lower middle of the pack.
Yeah, you like it more than Here in the Now Frontier, though, so that's saying something.
Yeah, well, because there's less skippers on it.
Yeah, there's also not 57 songs on it. It feels like Here in the Now Frontier has like as many songs as Hot in the Shade does.
It's too long.
It is.
Definitely too long. I don't mean Hot in the Shade. I mean, I don't think Hot in the Shade's too long.
Yeah, it could be trimmed a little bit, but that's a topic for a different day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother 3 hours.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's it. That's our Q2K review. I hope you stuck around for the whole thing. We actually didn't do too bad. We got through it in a couple hours for the whole episode.
Not bad.
So yeah, I just approached that one a little differently instead of going through a lot of the musical stuff, because I know you always hit that stuff really heavily. Since this album is so meaningful for me lyrically, I wanted to really spend a lot of time on that. So I hope it wasn't boring for you or for the audience. But that's the thing that's always made me connect with this album is the lyrics, and just love it. So a little bit different than what we normally do, but I think we pulled it off. So any closing thoughts, anything to wrap up, Steve, before we get out of here?
Yeah, just thanks to all of our listeners for supporting us and commenting on our stuff and emailing and voice messages and everything. Keep them coming. It's definitely a highlight of the episodes for me. I'm happy to see them out on tour again, and I'll see them the day after race season. We'll definitely do a concert review after our shows, and they're coming up on Monsters of Rock Cruise again next year. And like we said, we got Jeff Tate's show coming up in October, I think, and the Queensrÿche is in November. So you'll be getting a little Jeff Tate review before you'll be getting the Queensrÿche review. So looking forward to it. I guess there's inklings that the band is now writing stuff for a new album. I've seen a couple little things here and there that is possibly in the works. So
yeah, another new album of material they won't play live.
Yeah, that's for sure. Just thanks everybody for hanging in there with us. And Ray, always a pleasure. Just I have a blast doing this one. It's going to be fun. So thanks everybody out there, and Reich on.
You know what we forgot to mention, Steve?
Uh-oh.
We're going to meet for the first time in person this week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about. Yeah, we are. Actually,
for those of you who don't know, we've never actually met in person. We've known each other for years through social media and podcasting, but we've never actually met face to face. So that's happening this coming weekend. Steve and his wife are coming into town, and we're going to get together for dinner and go to a pirate game and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, there's like 10 of us going to go out for dinner next Friday.
Is it 10? And, I was going to ask you because I was making the reservation. That's a lot of people.
There's 10 of us. There's you and your wife, me and my wife, BC and his wife, Sonny Pooney and his wife, and then Michael McDonald's coming.
Yeah, I'm going to be like at dinner with like podcast royalty. Like I'm going to be like a little like fanboying out, like with Sonny and you and was it BB or BC? I can never remember which one's which.
BC.
Yeah,
the quieter one.
Yeah, the one that doesn't. He's the Marvin of your show.
He's the quieter one or the loud one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Marvin.
It's going to be fun.
I told Marvin, I said, I need a wingman. I'm like outmatched here. These guys all know each other, and I'm the only outsider, so I need somebody to come along.
No, you'll be good. Oh,
I know. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys.
We're all easygoing guys. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so
I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's exciting. So we'll have that to talk about next time. And I guess our next episode, Steve's going to be what, 20 through 11, classic Queensrÿche countdown. We're getting close to the end.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. Well, as Steve said, thanks everybody for checking out the show. Thanks for the interaction. Just thanks for all you do for us. We got got some rating information recently that showed that the show is doing very well. We were actually in the top 10% percentile of ratings for Hard Rock podcasts. So that was exciting. I don't know if I even shared that with you, Steve. But I'll get you that information so you can check it out. Hotter Than Hell is actually much higher than that. You're in like the top 3 percentile.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I'll send that to you. But yeah, so thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it, and we will be back soon with that next countdown episode. So. You have been listening to I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche podcast. We are available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to the show. Leave us a review or a rating. That helps us out tremendously in those rating type things. So please, whatever platform you use, give us a review or rating. We are a proud member of the TLD Podcast Network, which hosts a variety of shows, including The Less Desirables, Wheeler's Dog, Beeswax Vinyl Daily, The Asylum Podcast, Fan Interference, Health Geeks Book Club, and many, many more. Check out the other shows on the network wherever you get your podcasts or at tldpodnetwork.com. If you would like to be a part of the show, please give us a call at the TLD Network hotline at 336-422-6862. You can leave us a message on the show we just did or on a past show or anything else that you feel like talking about. Leave us a message and we will play it on the next show. Also, as we mentioned before, you can do that as a voice note or any type of MP3 file. You can email that to feedback at iremembernowpodcast.com. You can find us at our website, which is iremembernowpodcast.com. We're also on social media. Facebook, very original name, I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche Podcast. And on X, we are at I Remember Now Pod. Again, email the show, feedback at iremembernowpodcast.com. We love getting your feedback. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. Every time a new call or email or something comes in, it's always a really exciting moment of the month. So please keep them coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there for us and with us. And we will talk to you next time. So until that next time, my name is Ray.
This is Steve.
Saying thank you again for listening to I Remember Now, the Queensrÿche Podcast. And we'll talk to you soon.